What if I told you that the words you speak every single day have the power to literally change the way your brain works and, in turn, change your life? Well, it's an ancient Japanese idea called Kotodama, and what's wild is that modern science is now showing us exactly how it's real. Let's get into it. Okay, first, let me ask you something. Do you ever find yourself saying things like, ugh, I can't do this, or that's just impossible for me? Does it sometimes feel like your biggest obstacle is that voice inside your own head? If you're nodding along, you are definitely not alone, and the system we're about to break down is designed to completely rewrite that script. So this all comes down to a concept called Kotodama. You can think of it as word soul. It's this traditional Japanese belief that words are not just empty sounds. Nope. They believe words carry a real spiritual energy, a power that can actually influence your reality. It's all about being super intentional with everything you say. Okay, so an ancient belief in word power. It sounds a little mystical, right? But here's where it gets really cool. Modern neuroscience gives us a surprisingly solid explanation for how this actually works. We just have to look at the wiring inside our own heads. I want you to meet your brain's personal bouncer. It's called the Reticular Activating System, or RAS for short. Think of it like this. It's a little network of nerves whose job is to stand at the velvet rope of your consciousness and decide what gets in. Out of all the billions of things happening around you, the RAS decides what you actually notice. So how do we tell the bouncer what's on the VIP list? It's simple. We speak. When you say something out loud, your RAS takes it as a direct order. It thinks, oh, okay, this is important to my boss. So if you're always saying, I'm so unlucky, your RAS starts scanning your world for every piece of evidence to prove you're right. But if you start saying, I'm looking for a way to solve this, it literally starts hunting for solutions. You are programming your own focus with your voice. And it goes even deeper than that. Words don't just guide our focus, they're emotional triggers. Hearing the word failure can spark a feeling of anxiety, which is like a red stoplight for taking action. You see the connection? To change what we do, we have to first change the words that are fueling how we feel. All right, let's get practical. Let's dive into the very first step of putting this into practice. And before we can build anything new, we've got to clear away the old junk. That means dealing with all those negative words we say without even thinking about it.
The process here is simple, but man, is it powerful. First, you've got to see it to believe it, so write down your common negative phrases. You know the ones. Second, and this is the key, you rephrase the thought to put some distance between you and it. And third, you build a new reflex. As soon as the negative pops up, you hit it with a positive.
And this right here is the magic trick. Look at the difference. I am worthless. Wow, that feels like a core part of your identity, doesn't it? It feels heavy and true. But look at the switch. My thoughts are sending a message that I am worthless. See what just happened? It's not you anymore, it's just thought noise. It's a signal you can look at, observe, and then decide to ignore. You separated yourself from the thought, and it just loses all its power. You know, the author behind this whole system is really open about the fact that they're a naturally negative person. But here's their strategy. The moment a negative thought pops into their head, they cut it off. They immediately say out loud, however, I can savor this small happiness. It's this incredible act of self-encouragement. In Japanese, they call it kobu, which is all about actively cheering yourself on, rousing your own spirit. Okay, let's move on to step 2, because this is where it all starts to build. Getting rid of the negative is one thing, but making the positive stuff actually work for you, that's the other half of the battle. We're going to turn those nice-sounding affirmations into direct instructions for your brain. So how do we make our words actionable? Well, first we design action triggers. So instead of a fuzzy goal like I want to be productive, you say, I am starting this report for 10 minutes. See? Specific. Second, you use the present continuous tense. I will do it feels far away. I am doing it feels like it's happening right now. And finally, saying what you're grateful for out loud, that isn't just fluffy stuff. It actually releases serotonin, which helps you stay focused and stable. Here are some super simple but crazy effective examples. Think of these phrases as the starter pistol for your brain. It's not about wishful thinking, it's about kicking things into gear. Just saying, all right, let's do this, before you start something is a tiny act of Kotodama that tells your brain, okay, we're on. And now for the final step, step 3. This is what makes the whole thing stick for the long haul. This is how you turn a daily habit into a system that can actually guide your life. The big idea here is to create a positive feedback loop. When you write down the positive words, the Kotodama, that helped you get something done, you're basically building a personal library of proof that this stuff works. Then, when you read it every morning, you're hardwiring that belief into your brain. And the final piece of the puzzle? Using these positive words for other people. That's when things get really powerful. This brings us to the biggest and maybe the most profound idea of all. The power of Kotodama doesn't end with you. It's all about how your words ripple outwards and create this amazing positive cycle that, yep, comes right back to you. There's this classic Japanese folktale called The Straw Rich Man, and it just captures this idea perfectly. It's about a really poor guy who, through a bunch of good deeds and lucky trades, starting with just a single piece of straw, ends up becoming super wealthy. And every single trade happens because he gives someone else exactly what they need in that moment. And that is the ultimate lesson. When you consciously use your words to help, to encourage, to praise other people, you start to create a positive world around you. And guess what? That positivity finds its way back to you, often in ways you can never expect. That is the ultimate Kotodama cycle. So, to wrap it all up, here's your system. Step 1. Neutralize those negative words. Treat them like background noise to rob them of their power. Step 2, link your positive words to real, concrete actions. Make them instructions for your brain. And step 3, record it all, creating a life compass that proves to you, day after day, that this works. So you see, the power of Kotodama isn't magic. It's the science of focus, emotion, and action all rolled into one. So I'll leave you with a challenge. What's the one negative phrase you hear in your head all the time that you're going to neutralize today? And what powerful positive Kotodama are you going to replace it with starting right now?